Friends, welcome back to the Barker Hangar in Santa Monica, California. We recently just talked about the BMW Next 100 concept. Now let's talk about the Mini 100 concept. Here, it's not just about design, it's about, well, a whole bunch of things. So let's dive right into it. So in the BMW Next 100 concept, that car over there, it was a lot about design, a little bit about texture, something about propulsion systems, and then very cool like tiles that move. Here, yes, it's a lot of design, but you know this is a Mini. Out of all these cars I'm going to show you from the Barker Hangar here, this is the one that you look at and say, that is, I know what that is, and this one's a Mini. So you would say that's a Bulldog look. Well, actually, this is a bit different. It's a Bulldog mixed with a bit of go-kart. And the logic in the front here, and this I was talking with Chris, who we met when we drove the, the Clubman down in Georgia. We had some time chatting with him. Anyway, here, this is a go-kart, but think about what a go-kart is. A go-kart is low, you kind of like, it's right in your face, like the bugs come into your face and you're driving around a go-kart track like I did in Pennsylvania many, many years ago. This, well, it's all glass. Now the first question I left with Chris was, well, how does that work with NCOP and DOT and all that kind of stuff? And his answer was, well, at 2040, because remember, the whole remit for all three of these cars was 2040, you're going to have autonomous driving and vehicle-to-vehicle communication and all that kind of stuff. So the idea is the car will communicate with other cars, or in theory, so it won't hit anything. So there really is no NCAP. Now, you and I both know that's probably pie in the sky thinking, but I love the logic of being able to kind of look past your feet and see the road from there as you did in a go-kart when you were 5 years old. But now come around here. Look at the design. So remember that car over there, that BMW kind of looked like a blob over there? They call that monoval. This, yeah, there's a little bit of monoval, like volume car look, where it comes up over here. Remember, you've got different, I guess, yardsticks when you've got EV propulsion, because you don't have to worry about packaging an engine and exhaust and gas tanks about that. So what they've done here, and this is we're being interrupted by the CEO of BMW Group, so we'll just say hello, show you respect, say hi. How you doing, sir?
How are you? Well.
Very good to meet you, Moto Man.
That's great.
Yes, we were just telling everybody about how cool this looks. Out of all the cars here, this is the one where you look at it and immediately say, I know what that is.
Yeah, true.
That's a Mini. But he's more excited about the motorcycle. You were really excited about the motorcycle.
I was excited about all, definitely. The motorcycle was really cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Tschüss. Bis später. Okay, so here, back to, there you go. You just met the CEO of BMW. How do you like that? See what I do for you people? Anyway, back to Minis. So here you got that monoval look, but what I love what they did here is, yeah, you've got it in the glass, but it still has that go-kart or Bulldog look to it, which that's why it looks identifiable. But now come around here. This was the only car in these three cars of this Next 100 where they actually said, well, the future is not going to be so much owning a car, there's going to be some aspect of car sharing, which we're already seeing today with like the Zip cars of the world. Like car manufacturers like General Motors and Audi are investing into car sharing as well as BMW. So this being that it's a more, I would argue this is a lifestyle brand. I would argue this is more of a, I don't want to say hipster brand, because I met a lot of you at Mini Takes the States, and you are very much car guys, but you're a different breed. And the logic here was, okay, try to change the design, Chris, interpret what a car would look like in 25 years, but think of it in terms of fractional ownership or how you could share the car. Now, come around here, let me show you some of the things that Chris did. And this was all accomplished with textures and the space. Now, look at this from the driver's point of view. Remember we said go-kart and you're looking over your legs? Remember that feeling when you were 5 years old or 10 years old, whatever it is? Here, it's all different textures. So you've got brass in here, you've got recycled plastic bottles in here, this is paper from Japan here, this is Alcantara, and then get this. This here is Alcantara that's been sewn into a weave, so it's not necessarily Alcantara, and then this is its own separate kind of Alcantara up here. And the logic is it can be reusable if the car is shared. Even the pedal and the steering wheel can go side to side, so right or left hook depending on where it is. And then you have like this Cooperizer in here, which to me looks like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea back here. But that one, it's like that doesn't move, but it just kind of brings together the whole mininess of this project. Anyway, let's put this all together and sum it up. Now this is where we get to an issue where it's a little bit more personal to me, because I've shared with you guys over the past couple of months how I feel about debt, specifically how I'm a major Dave Ramsey fan. So you can imagine the idea of fractional ownership, of paying for something on the month, doesn't really sit well with me, even in 2040, because in 2040 I will be an old man. I'll be even cheaper then, because that's what happens when you get older. So we need to look at this a little bit differently. This is very cool. I have all these cars here that I've looked at. This is the one, just from an aesthetic point of view, that I love the most because it's so iconic for a Mini. But at the end of the day, I want to own it outright. I wouldn't want to share the car, partly because, again, I'm a little OCD and I don't want other people touching my car. But I get where the world is going, and so does BMW, so they've put this out here. But now I've got to turn this around to you guys. Would you want to fractionally own a vehicle? And if so, under what circumstances? So yes, for X amount a month, or yes, only if I lived in a city, or no, because I live in Vermont on a farm and I have 20 acres, like my cameraman holding this camera, which I'm jealous about. So give me the logic, but also the why behind it. And you know what? I want to know, especially on this one, what region of the world you come from, because that has a huge thing to do with all of these cars. Because a guy that's in Vermont that has 20 acres, he probably wants something different than someone has to deal with congestion charging in a city like London. So let me know in the comments below, or via our social media, Motoman TV all one word, Motoman TV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with two things. Number one, make sure you download our fancy new mobile application, which you can download for free at Apple iTunes and Google Play. And oh, by the way, we're at an airport, so I'm going to remind you again, we are live on 5 International Airlines. And number two, a fun fact. So Adrian, who was just over there while we were shooting, he worked on a concept car in 1997 that became the ACV30, which was one of the original concepts of the first BMW Mini Cooper. That concept was then picked up and then put into production by Frank Stevenson, who now runs design over at McLaren. So it's amazing how small of a world design is, especially when you deal with like BMW Mini. Until I see you next time, probably, well, maybe with a Rolls Royce, or maybe you saw the Rolls Royce before. Anyway, until I see you next time, bis später.